Vincent Kennedy McMahon ruled over the WWE with an iron fist for over 40 years, and in that time he turned it into the biggest sports entertainment franchise in the whole world. And now that he's been forced off of the board of TKO, the organization that he sold WWE to, we can't help but think it drives him nuts to see some of the things that are happening in his former company. And we don't hate it. We don't hate the idea that he's frustrated that he has no control over his former creation, because he's a slimeball. So, we thought it might be interesting to take a look at the changes that must have him fuming. I'm Senior Siete for 7 Wrestling, and let's take a look at 7 things that Vince McMahon must hate about the new WWE. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop to hold the notification bell. Number 1. Vince's pet peeves. Vince McMahon hates a lot of things. Sneezing? He hates that because it's something your body can't control. Nodding? Because apparently that's what yes men do. Don't nod around Vince too much. And yes, while the new WWE has yet to introduce a wrestler that nods and sneezes a lot, they have incorporated a lot of things into the program that Vince doesn't like the implementation of the War Games match. Vince always hated ideas that came from outside of the company. That's why so many successful wrestlers got makeovers when they came to WWE. And War Games was definitely a Dusty Rhodes invention from the heyday of WCW. Terms like wrestler and belt are no-nos to Vince. These guys and gals are superstars, and the belt-shaped thing they're battling over is a championship. But now, you'll hear those nouns occasionally get busted out. Even things like the added emphasis on tag team wrestling must drive Vince nuts. Why does Vince have a disdain for tag team wrestling? Well, because in a singles match, you only have to pay 2 wrestlers, and in a tag team match, you have to pay 4. See, it makes financial sense. And he even has issues with basic tag team wrestling tropes, like the hot tag. You know, that thing where the bad guys separate the good guy from his partner, then the good guy finally makes the tag and his partner cleans house. Well, Vince had decided that was passé, despite being a formula that has literally worked for decades. A formula that has been used by the best tag teams of all time, like these guys, also them too, for literally since the dawn of wrestling. The odds are good that your favorite tag team match features this tried and true storytelling tool, but Vince was like, nah. So yeah, a hot tag in a match where a pair of wrestlers are battling for a pair of belts, Vince hates that. Number 2. Coal miners rejoice. Yeah, getting slammed over the back with a steel chair is tough, but you know what the actual worst job in WWE used to be? Color commentator. Imagine having to perform for a live broadcast while Vince McMahon is feeding you lines and screaming at you if everything you say isn't to his liking. And remember, what is to Vince's liking changes on a daily basis. To hear Mick Foley describe it, I did not take well to being cursed at on a headset. I just snapped and said, I don't care who you are or how much you're worth, you're not going to talk to me that way ever again. And then Foley promptly left the company for 3 years. Every former announcer talks about what a nightmare it was to have your boss yelling into your headset on live TV. And now, look at Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. They're having a blast. And if you've ever listened to morning talk shows on the radio, they're always having fun, because when the hosts have fun, the audience is more likely to have fun. Also, one of Vince's many quirks is that he doesn't want the announcers talking about each other because he doesn't think anybody cares about the announcers. But how fun was it to hear Michael Cole show some genuine enthusiasm and personality when he started showing love for Valhalla's war dress thingamajig? And didn't that make Valhalla a little more intriguing? And wasn't it kind of fun when she made him wear the antlers? The crowd loved it, and it was the most interesting thing that Valhalla has done since leaving the Riot Squad. So yeah, while we're loving Michael Cole's awakening, Vince probably is not. Number 3. Primetime advertising. You see it everywhere nowadays. Ads on MLB and NBA jerseys, UFC octagon, boxing rings. Ads are everywhere. And let's not act like WWE has been immune to this. Let's not forget that one WrestleMania where Cinnamon Toast Crunch decided to endorse child abuse when this wrestler beat up his son. Look at the sick freak. He's loving it. But the mat itself, much like Gunther, Vince considers the mat to be sacred. That's why it had to break his cold, dark heart that TKO is doing away with decades of McMahon family tradition by placing paid ads on the ring mat for premium live events. But at least they're starting off with something refined and tasteful like, Logan Paul's energy swill. Okay, maybe we finally agree with Vince on something. Number 4. Bathroom break. This probably isn't going to come as a surprise to many of you watching this video, but Vince loves sophomoric humor. It's been said that the funniest thing in the world to him is someone being pushed into a backyard pool. Another anecdote surrounds the WWE Network prank show Swerved, where Vince came up with a prank of his own where a woman would conduct interviews with WWE superstars while the microphone was covered in dog poop. And apparently, Vince insisted that that poop be real. Now, why would a microphone have poop on it? That was never explained, but apparently Vince loved this idea. Co-executive producer Ben Plumiere would describe Vince's enthusiasm for the joke by saying, "When Vince would even think of the prank before we shot it, apparently he would burst into fits of laughter, unable to talk." And honestly, this might have been the poop-covered tip of the iceberg, as over the years, Dolph Ziggler and A.G. Lee were doused in poop, the Big Show was sprayed with poop, heck, even the boss himself met this disgusting fate. Then you got Jericho peed in Regal's tea, Drake Maverick peed himself, heck, even okay, I'm seeing a trend. Katie Vick, the Kiss My Rear End Club, Dr. Heine, a rock bottom onto dog poop, Stephanie McMahon puking on Vicky Guerrero. Sadly, the list goes on and on. Unfortunately, with Vince out of power, we're seeing it less and less. And before we move on, know that we don't have a problem with bathroom humor at all. It's just there's a time and a place for it, and this isn't the place. Number 5. Thanking Sting. A strict WWE rule over the years has been you don't acknowledge the competition. Sure, they'd occasionally team up with a group they didn't see as a threat, like Smoky Mountain Wrestling or Impact, but if there was an organization that was nipping at WWE's heels, they'd never get mentioned in a positive light. That's why it was so surprising and honestly refreshing when on the Monday, March 4th, 2024 episode of Monday Night Raw, Michael Cole congratulated Sting on his retirement that had taken place the night before on an AEW pay-per-view. That was followed by Pat McAfee complimenting the Stinger on an epic match last night. What? Complimenting AEW on live television? McMahon must have been yanking out his creepy villain mustache in anger. But that was probably an isolated incident until the following week they showed Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley at a UFC event next to her fiancé and AEW talent Buddy Matthews. And yes, Michael Cole didn't mention him by name, but McAfee had some fun with it, questioning who was at Ripley's side. What's crazy about this segment is it would have been super easy just to crop Buddy out. So what's going on? A kindler, gentler WWE? Maybe a few steps closer to that AEW WWE Forbidden Door? Probably not. But it's nice to have them acknowledge that other wrestling exists and not insulting our intelligence. Number 6. Business is booming. Modern professional wrestling has enjoyed several boom periods. In the 80s, Hulk Hogan and the Rock and Wrestling Connection dominated MTV and popular culture. In the 90s, the Monday Night Wars, when the WCW's NWO program and WWE's Attitude Era turned Monday Night Wrestling into can't-miss programming. And potentially now, WWE is selling out events left and right. AEW is doing solid numbers and probably has a big TV rights boost in the future. The Rock, John Cena, Dave Bautista, they're some of the biggest names in Hollywood. And other WWE superstars are appearing everywhere. Got the Netflix deal, and creatively, WWE is having one of its best periods in a long time. The long-running Bloodline storyline has made stars out of the Uso brothers, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and many others. Judgment Day is the hottest faction on Raw, with Rhea Ripley arguably becoming the biggest female in the company. Celebrities like Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, and Pat McAfee are excited to work with the company, and when it's their turn in the ring, they deliver incredible performances. And Triple H? Well, Triple H is getting credit for everything. Yeah, that's probably a little unfair, because Vince obviously laid the groundwork for a lot of these things. But in many people's eyes, the product is simply better under Triple H's more stable direction, which might be a shock to the TKO board, as they went so far as to offer McMahon the role of executive chairman until death, resignation, or incapacity as a condition of giving WWE that final deal. It's always been believed that Vince was the special sauce behind the WWE success. How many times have we heard him referred to as a creative genius? But now, the show hitting a new boom period that's largely without Vince's input? That's gotta be a blow to his massive ego and rapidly dwindling legacy. Oh, which brings us to number 7, Vince's rapidly dwindling legacy. We'll occasionally make jokes here about forgetting who won the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 20 or who made John Cena tap out, but we know it was Chris Benoit. We were huge Chris Benoit fans back in the day, but obviously, we don't condone the horrible actions that led to the end of his and his family's lives. From a personal standpoint, we no longer enjoy his matches and honestly aren't interested in seeing him inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Your opinion on this may be different, we're just stating ours. But the fact remains that WWE made the corporate choice that they are no longer comfortable doing anything that would make it seem like they're doing anything to profit from Benoit's legacy. That's why the awesome Royal Rumble by the Numbers video packages only mention some of the wrestlers who've won the Royal Rumble from the #1 spot. That's why it's never mentioned who Randy Orton defeated for the world title at SummerSlam 2004. No Benoit in video games, no Benoit action figures, not even mentions of Benoit in pay-per-view text blurbs where he was in the main event on Peacock. Yes, Benoit will get a mention in things like a WWE encyclopedia, but in many ways, it's like he never existed. And that seems like it's going to be that way for Vince. Already in WWE's latest video game, WWE 2K24, Vince McMahon's face is blurred out of the showcase mode. The most influential person in the history of the sport, gone. The person who created the most successful professional wrestling promotion of all time, gone. Welcome to WrestleMania, gone. Austin's greatest nemesis, gone. The catalyst for the Montreal Screwjob, gone. Is it right? That's debatable. He did do all of these things in the industry, but the company is well within their rights to want to distance themselves from Vince because of his horrible behavior. Money comes and money goes. Vince has been rich and he's been poor, but he's always prided himself on what he built from the ground up. Well, with some help from his dad. Now all that's gone. And the fact that going forward he'll probably receive no recognition for this accomplishment. That's got to be the biggest thing that Vince McMahon hates about the new WWE. Well, there's our list. Did we forget anything about the new WWE that Vince McMahon probably hates? If so, leave it in the comments section below. Also, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and rock bottom that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Singer Siete for Savin Wrestling saying bye-bye.